Hey everybody, welcome to Storytime with John and Friends. I'm your host, John. Today we have another great episode for you. My friend Ben Lieber was in town. You may know Ben from his bands Marigold and Head North. It was great to have Ben stop by while he was in town. Ben does not live in Buffalo any longer, so I haven't seen or talked to him in quite some time. So it was really great to catch up. We actually spent some time talking about what he's got going on. He has started shooting music videos, and he is killing it. He's done a bunch of them. He is doing a great job. Everything that he's done it's awesome. It's well done, sir. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe across all platforms. I love doing this. I want to continue doing this. Share with a friend, share with a family member. Anything helps. I appreciate all of you. I love you all. Enjoy the episode.
You were pissing neon green every day.
That big ball of heat in the sky was too much. I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
Welcome to
Storytime.
Storytime.
How's New York City, man?
I do not live in New York City anymore.
You don't? Oh, you bought a house. That's right.
Yeah.
So where'd you buy?
We're in Beacon, which is in Hudson Valley, about an hour, 90 minutes north of the city.
Okay.
You know where like Newburgh, Poughkeepsie is?
Yeah.
That's that area.
So are you in New Jersey now?
No, it's in New York.
It's in New York.
Yep.
Okay.
We're 20 minutes south of Poughkeepsie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yep.
What? So I on Instagram I saw you doing all the house renovations and everything. How'd that go?
It's not over, but it's good. Yeah. You know how it goes, man.
I do. We've been here for almost 4 years, and I'm still not even close to done.
Right.
So I know that.
Yeah, I've felt so much like my father the past 6 months, like
Yeah.
watching him do all that my whole growing up. Like, there's been so many moments where I'm like, I watched my dad do this and get just as pissed off as I am right now. You know,
I feel
it's
that.
so funny. No, it's going good. We painted. We did a facelift to the kitchen, backsplash, that type of thing. My project right now, I'm putting in a fence.
Nice.
So that's been fun.
I gotta fix some of ours because it's like it's so windy here a lot of times, and it's just like the fence will get pushed over and then it sits, crooked. So I gotta get on that. But
Dirt, man. Dirt is heavy.
yeah, oh yeah, I know. I work in construction, man. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm digging fairly often.
So it's the last thing you want to do when you come home.
Oh God, I just really, but then like part of me's like, I can do it myself. So why am I gonna pay someone top dollar
Exactly
to come in and do it for me?
Oh yeah, man.
It's the worst.
We got a quote and it was like over double the cost of the materials.
Right.
And it's like very small. It's not like crazy. It's not like we have acres. So yeah, I was just like, nope, I can't swallow that. So here I am.
I don't blame you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because I've always been like, you saw the music video I did for Genesee Hotel and the ring.
Yep.
Which I thought was such a good idea.
I love the idea,
but
dude.
it
It's so
just
clever.
didn't go off the way. Like nobody saw it. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I reached out to Ring and they were like, "Cool," and I just
They're like, thanks for the free marketing.
I messaged back and I was like, "Oh, so you don't give a blah blah," like just trying to get them to do whatever.
Yeah.
And then instead of like reposting it or anything, they just shared it as like a recommended video on their YouTube, which got a decent amount of plays.
That's cool.
But it stopped like after a few days. I was like, God damn. It could have been so much better. But
Yeah.
I thought it was a brilliant
I
marketing.
love the idea.
Dude, imagine that on a commercial or something.
Yeah, it's such a unique but like recognizable perspective.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I thought you did a great job.
But so how did you get into that stuff? Because that's something that I've been like, I wanted to start doing that for
Hell yeah.
people in the area too. But
really, I mean, I always had like an interest in photography back when we were touring all the time, and I just would bring cameras with me. And then when I moved to New York, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and moving there was like highly inspirational just because there was like endless things to go and photograph and pursue and capture. And so I just was like doing it so much more. And it really started with like, I didn't want to work at a coffee shop anymore, and I reached a point of like, I don't give a shit if I'm broke. I need to do something that makes me happy. So I just started hitting up friends, and it started with like photography and album artwork, and I was like doing Photoshop stuff for bands and photos for bands, and then naturally, you know, the interest, I started to dabble with video, and I was like, oh, video cameras could be cool. It was definitely intimidating at first, but the more that I dabbled with it, and then I was like, oh, I made one video for a friend, and I was like, that actually went really well, and then it kind of it just snowballed. Like, I learned as I went and tried to make the best thing I could make at that time with whatever I was working on, and then that came out, and another friend would see it and would want to bring me on, and I just like jumped at every opportunity basically. Yeah. And then it hit a certain point where I guess I was like, I guess I'm like freelancing and doing this now, and I just like really was like treated it as a business from that point forward. And yeah, now I've got a really solid like portfolio of videos and have really learned a lot. Yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Is that what you're doing like full time now? Yeah.
I've been full time on it for 4 years now.
Very cool. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
That's that's something I want to try and do like around here, but I'm like I'm still in school too, so maybe after that, and I'm about to have a kid, so probably not. But
that's right. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't see why. I don't like. This doesn't have to be black and white of like, oh, I do this full time or I don't. Like, you know, it's just it's a creative outlet and a skill that you grow as you do it.
Right.
You know, whatever pace that may be.
Yeah, I look at it as like the way you did, as far as like you can't half-ass it. You got to bet on yourself and go all in on it. And I'm like, I have a mortgage.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, I could not do it now, dude. Like, I was in a very different place in my life. You know, that was like the whole reason I moved there. I was just like, get all on black, basically. Like, what the hell do I have to lose? I could always move back to my parents' house. And I don't know. I'm in a different place now.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's very cool, though.
Thank you.
So I reached out to you a little while ago to see if you wanted to come on. You said absolutely. You had some stories or whatever. So we tried to time it for when you're in town. You're in town to record a new record. Very exciting. Marigold.
No.
New band.
No.
What? Head North? What?
Soft announce.
Wow.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's very loose. We're not calling it a new record yet.
Okay.
But we have a lot of ideas, and we have a week booked with Mr. Zabecki.
Is it all you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Alex the other day, and he didn't say anything. What a jerk.
Keeping it on the DL.
No, I feel that. I understand. On your list here, first, we see Cincinnati Punk House Show.
Yeah.
And Cops.
Yes. So, Brent and I were on tour with Casey Bowles and Johnny from Water Me Down. We had booked them like a duo acoustic Northeast thing, and it was middle of winter. We had our old red van that you guys know very well.
We know it very well.
But at the time, headlights were inoperable. Did most of that tour driving through blizzards with no headlights.
Was this before or after we used it?
I think before.
Before, okay.
Yeah, I think so. We were in Cincinnati. It was basically the summer before, I was on a trip with my family, and I had met this girl, like literally on the beach. We just like met, and I thought she was cool, and we like got to talking, and same music interests and whatever. We stayed in touch, and then Brent and I were booking Casey this tour. And I was like, oh, this girl I met lives in Cincinnati. Let me like hit her up and see if she can get us a show. Not even for my band, but she got us a show, quote unquote. It was like a house show, whatever. Like, cool. So we show up, and the house, again, like I don't know this person really. I met her like one day, and it was just like a weird connection. And we show up, and it's like a huge party going on. We go in, and like I've never more witnessed the definition of a punk house than this environment. Like zero furniture. The rooms were just empty, and every inch of every wall was covered in graffiti. And
were they squatting?
Not, I don't know if people lived there. I would assume someone had to live there. There was some like furniture on the second floor in like a bedroom, a couch.
There was
and some
electricity.
shit. Yeah, there was electricity, and there was a ton of people. The first room that we walk into, we see this guy who's just like completely in his underwear, totally bald, like doing like a headstand, blasting Burnout by Dookie, like loudish, like only person in the room. And I'm like, okay, so this is what we're getting into. So we like go in, we like load in our stuff, and we, are stashing it in like a pantry closet in the kitchen. And so I try to find my friend and get some details on what the show will be or whatever. And find her, we connect. She's like, okay, music's not going to start for a couple hours, whatever. She's like, come on, there's a group of people hanging out upstairs in this bedroom. We go up. We're like hanging out in this bedroom. Everybody's doing illicit things. That was an eye-opener to me at, I think, 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that happened. And then I was just like soaking it all in. I was like, I am in a crazy environment and I just need to like be a fly on the wall, basically. And all to say, the hangout era ends, and then everybody goes downstairs for music to start. Johnny plays first. Casey does not even get to perform this night, basically. Johnny starts playing. He gets a couple songs into his set. Nobody really is paying attention. People are just wanting to party and whatever. And, we're like playing, everybody's playing these like soft acoustic songs. It's just like weird environment. Anyways, he gets a couple songs into his set, and we see like all these lights like in the windows, like coming in the house. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And somebody yells like, the cops are here, whatever. And we're like, okay, this has now gotten interesting. All the lights in the house go out, and it's just like dark, pitch black in this house. And I guess whoever lives there or owns the house or whatever, the leader of the party, he loudly says, I'm going to go talk to the cops. So he goes outside, out the door. We hear the cops at the front door. Everybody's just like being quiet, trying to like not make a disturbance, basically. And a couple minutes go by. We're just like seeing what happens. We hear the cops at the door. We hear him talking to him. And then that bald guy who was in his underwear gets on the mic. Everybody is silent. And he just says, yo, fuck the police. Like loud as shit. And we're like, holy shit. Okay.
What a dick.
Yeah. No, completely unaware. So then we basically make a mad dash to leave. We like jolt out the back door, run out, and like as the cops are like coming in the front door and like the lights go on and it was just like all seamless in one moment. I could like, it happened 0.5x speed in my head basically. And we got out, we went to the van and drove off. I don't know what happened from that point forward,
That's
but
wild.
that like I remember that moment of him saying that in the mic so vividly because I was just like, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. You
What
ruined
the-
it for everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Did you guys play a lot of punk houses like that?
Not really.
No.
Not really. Ironically, one of the other ones that we played very, very early on was also in Cincinnati. And that was back when James was singing for us, like Arrows EP days, and he almost got stabbed, which that was cool. No, we didn't do those a lot. We played like house shows, but not ones where it was like a lot of like illicit shit.
Right,
going on.
yeah,
It was always like cool environments.
The first tour I ever did, I filled in on drums for. Did you ever hear the band Doses?
I know the name.
They were from Rochester, but they did a tour with I Was a Hero, so Brandon Pagano and his band. And I forget where it was, but we played this show, and it was like a punk house like that. And we walk in, we play the show, whatever. It's like a huge party. And I just remember like talking to Brandon, and then me and him being like, all right, let's go to the van. So we walk out the door, and there's a dude sitting passed out on the steps with a needle still in his arm.
Christ, bro.
And at the time, Brandon's straight edge.
Yeah.
So he's like, I've
terrified.
never seen that, but like, whatever.
Sure.
He saw it and it just like, his eyes were just like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Oh my God.
What am I getting myself into? That was probably the only time I've ever seen that kind of like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this shit's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
And it was wild.
We saw that shit a lot when we would go out to Salt Lake City,
Okay.
but it was more like meth heads.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of people on drugs in that city.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's a great city too. That was a fun city to
It's
play.
so beautiful there. It's such a weird, like, contradiction because it's so gorgeous, like, driving into it, and then it's, like, so many homeless people that are,
Right,
like, cracked out. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that van, dude, did I ever tell you? Hold on. So
my
I
God.
made a point to bring myself back to it. Did you ever hear the story of Oklahoma getting pulled over with the brights on?
I think so, but not to
So
memory.
you guys said like, oh, only the brights work, but you have to like tie it on, right?
Right. Yeah.
So for those of you at home, if you hold the brights on, they stay on, but if you let go, they would turn off or whatever. So what they had done was they took like a hair tie or something, put it around the steering wheel, and held it on, and it worked.
Real
It's all
engineering miracle.
Listen, when you're in a touring band, you don't have money, right?
Yeah.
So it's after the sun went down, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty late. We're driving through Oklahoma. It's on that tour, and we get pulled over by a sheriff.
Sure.
And he's like, "Oh, your brights are on." And we're like, "Oh yeah, the lights just stopped working. Like, just stopped
Sure.
working."
Yeah.
But we need to get to where we need to go so we can get them looked at tomorrow.
Right.
And he's like, "Here, turn it off."
Oh.
So he turns it off. He pops the light.
Oh no.
They turned on.
What?
They turned on.
Are you kidding me?
He looks at us. He goes, "See, I fixed it." And we all look at each other. We're like, "Oh my God!"
You just did the whole tour with that.
We did. Well, that's the thing. We drove away and it turned off.
Oh,
It never turned on
Are
again.
you kidding me?
Swear to God, it
What
was
the
that
hell?
moment like
How did
prevented
you
us from
do
getting
it?
it. No
What
idea.
the fuck, bro?
No idea. But we were just like, "Holy shit, dude!" That was the moment we were just like, "This van is magic."
Yeah.
because
But it's also evil.
also
magic
evil,
and
yeah,
evil.
because it took everything from
Took
you.
everything. Took everything.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment because we just like he pulled us over because he said he wanted to see our licenses.
Okay.
He's like, "I wanted to see what your license looked like and like when they expire." Because he's from Oklahoma, he's never seen.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, 2025, holy shit!" And then hands it off and does the thing, and then we're like,
Weird
"Oh my
flex.
God!" We all kind of just look at each other. We drive away, and like half a mile down the road, they shut off, and then we did the rest of the tour that way. Whatever.
Oh my God.
There actually was a point too on that tour in Iowa. I was driving. It was probably 2 a.m. It's the desert. There's nothing out there.
Yep.
The lights shut off. The brights
Cool.
stopped working.
Great.
So I turn the flashers. I pull over. First, I pull over. I'm like, "What the fuck? This is ridiculous."
Yep.
Whatever. Then, start the car back up. They turned on. Start driving. Less than a mile. They turned back off.
That's so weird.
We they had to have just been like overheating or whatever.
Sure.
But
I mean, we did not take care of that vehicle. at
dude,
all.
who takes care of their tour van though? Unless
Yeah.
it's like a brand new one.
It was
though.
old and shit. Like
Yeah.
it was already done.
Well, so I did the rest of that drive with the flashers.
Okay.
So anytime I needed to see the road, it was every 3 seconds when the flasher would turn on.
Oh my God.
And I'd be driving and I'm like, "Okay, we're still in between the lines.
Right.
We're still in between the lines. That's all that mattered."
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
dude.
like blinking almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting drive too.
Jesus.
That was great. But we found out that it was just the motherboard for the lights just melted.
Wow.
Like the whole thing just melted inside.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. That was crazy.
That van has seen. I hope for humanity's sake, it is not still running.
I feel like it just still is.
gotta be,
because
though.
it went to who after Super American?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it went to Well Kept Things, then Super American, right?
And then I don't know what.
It's somewhere.
They have a
If
new van
not-
now, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's crazy.
I would love to know.
Did you tour with packages a lot?
Yeah.
Head North.
Yeah.
Did you guys do pranks and anything like that?
The first time when he wrote down pranks, I didn't think of a prank, but we had like I'll call it a ritual
Okay.
if you will. Brent pioneered this, but I forget what he called it. I think he just called it "Say Something Positive," but basically, you'd do tours, 2-3 other bands, shows would suck, made no money, blah blah blah. Morale gets low, and so he came up with this thing where like at the end of every show, after we're all loaded out, like show is done, we are about to part ways for the night. Sometimes we would get in a circle outside, and we would all start like clapping together, and like just like start like a kind of like drum circle almost type thing, and everyone would go around and say the most positive part of their day.
Okay.
And it could be either total bullshit, like joke, or genuinely honest. It was often bullshit, but every time someone would say one, the next person would kind of try and like one up the person before, and we would all as a group each time be like, "Oh, that's a great like," just like freak out and like make it a whole thing. Yeah. And then by the time you got to the last person in the group, that would be like the killer for the whole thing. Okay. So like after they drop theirs, everyone would be, "Oh, it's a dead." You'd, like everyone would die and roll. And, like it got it escalated more and more to the point of like what's the thing where you're in the pool and you like do the fighting on people's shoulders?
Oh, what is it?
Chicken fighting. We would do that on the sidewalk, basically.
Okay.
In a recoil of how awesome that great thing was. So that was like a ritual that we put into place, and we did it across a couple tours. And it was once it was a thing, we couldn't not do it. But then we'd start a new tour and basically like enforce this like really weird thing on a band that we just met, and it would take them a couple days to be like, they'd be like, "This is kind of fucking weird that these guys do this thing. We just met you," but everybody got on the page.
That has to like build the relationship too, just because you're being goofy or whatever.
That was the goal, was to try and make light of the really hard parts of touring, and like also it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've only done one prank on tour. We kind of all did it collectively, but we were in Syracuse at Nick Berger's house, and Mike got really drunk and passed out early in his sleeping bag. And I don't remember whose idea it was. This was such a dumb prank. It was a dick move, but it was funny in the moment. We took a 500-round firecracker and put it in a pan right next to his head.
Oh my god, dude! You could have like blown his ears out.
Well,
bro.
It was like within range to where it shouldn't have done anything, but it just. Him waking up was just the pure like, "You guys, I'm gonna fucking kill you." Know, like he was so pissed. Yeah, and that's really like the only thing we ever did, aside from like the sandwich game. Do you know the sandwich game?
Yes, remind me.
Like, is that a sandwich? This is not a sandwich. If you don't respond with "this is not a sandwich,"
you punch it. Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, we would do that. Yeah. Oh my god, that reminds me of like
game.
Denny's after shows as kids.
Yeah,
we would play that game. And Sugar Shoulder.
Sugar Shoulder.
It's not even a game. This was back when we would go to Denny's.
Didn't you throw it over your shoulder?
No, it was like we'd be 20 people deep at a Denny's table, 2 a.m, and you could like, when you're like right up next to people at a table, right? You're only doing like this. You're not really like, you don't have a big range of motion, but you can see the people across from you. So the game would be to see how many packets of sugar you could like sneakily pour on their shoulders without them noticing, but like everyone across the table would watch you do it. It was so dumb. And we made a mess of these Denny's. They hated us. And
it's all in good fun though. So they would have done it too if they were playing the game.
Yeah,
That's what I can ask for. All right. So I have down here. I always ask your favorite gig.
Sure. This was by no means the best gig.
Okay.
But it was so weird that it was so memorable, and for that reason is my favorite. We played a lot of college shows, and this one was at Alfred State. They have a thing called Hot Dog Day.
Okay. I'm listening.
Sure. It almost has nothing to do with hot dogs. I think it did it originally when it's just their like spring festival.
Losing
thing.
interest.
Yeah. I wish there was more hot dogs involved. I think they served hot dogs. I don't know why they call it that. We never really got context on that. Anyways, they paid us to play there. Alfred State's middle of nowhere, New York, and 3,000 kids that have nothing else to do. Basically, we were opening for Bowling for Soup at this college.
That's sick, though.
It was awesome. No idea how it happened. I actually think my brother was going to college there at the time. I think he like recommended us to whoever was in charge of events or something. And, these kids that run these like talent booking programs at college, they're 19, 20-year-old kids who
they're
just
learning.
Yeah. And the college is like, hey, here's like so much money to just like go book bands for your entertainment and all that stuff. So it's such a weird situation, but colleges were super lucrative. College shows were lucrative for that reason. And, so yeah, we're like, we actually didn't even know until like a week before that the show was with Bowling for Soup. It was just like, do you guys want to play at Alfred State College Spring Festival? Sure. Yeah. Okay. A week before we get the like itinerary of the night, and it's like us Bowling for Soup. And we're like, what the fuck? This is so weird.
That's wild.
So random. And so we show up. It was like in their gymnasium, total like, build a stage type situation, but it was like nice, like really nice, legit stage. The green room was like in the locker rooms, which were like underground for some reason. I don't know, vague memories, but it was like fully catered and everything. Bowling for Soup, we like shared the green room with them, which like, we had salads and sandwiches and all this stuff. That was primarily really for them.
Was it like sectioned off or anything, or you just were there with them?
It's just like one room with like a couple like round tables and one thing of food. And yeah, it was just like, this is where the bands go, basically.
Kind of weird, but also cool.
It was cool. Yeah, we got to like talk to them and stuff. But, we were, I think I like 18 and 19 at the time. So we were idiots, we didn't know how to communicate correctly. And I just remember, we, like any other show, any other tour date or whatever, you were lucky if you got PBR. And so when we got to that, we were like, oh my God, there's like roast beef sandwiches, there's salad, there's all this shit. We were like going to town. And I have always had a special interest in cheesecake. And they had fucking cheesecake there for us.
Yeah, dude, I backed that so
dude,
hard.
It's so good. So I was like so stoked. I ate like 4 slices of cheesecake. I could not shut up about how much I loved the cheesecake and was so happy that we got cheesecake that literally, and we played, great show. The whole school was there. Bowling for Soup gets on stage and they go, yo, give it up for Head North who opened. Those guys fucking love cheesecake. I have that burned in my memory.
That's awesome, though. That's so funny.
Yeah. And then they opened and closed with 1985.
Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, give the people what they want.
That's true, yeah.
You could have stopped midway through that song, played the rest of your set, and then continued the
Finished
rest of the
it.
song,
Yeah.
and people never would have noticed.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was sick.
Like, was that, as far as like the conversations with them, what was that?
I'm trying to think what else we talked about.
Was there anything that you, like, what did you ask them?
I honestly, I think we were so young and impressionable that we just like tried to play it as cool as possible.
There was cheesecake. There was no concern.
Yeah. I was focused on the cheesecake primarily. I'm sure Brent's focus was on making a good impression with Bowling for Soup.
Right.
Mine was not. But
priorities, dude.
Yeah, you only eat once. And so yeah, that's that. I don't remember
this year,
anything
he's
else.
releasing a music video for Bowling for. No, just kidding.
That would be sick. Hey,
That
if
would
you're
be
watching,
and we
hit
know
me
you
up.
are.
They have nothing better to do. Yeah, they totally. I remember they said that they all individually flew in to do that show. So
they
all
probably
did was, like,
none of
rent
them
it.
live even
No.
remotely close to each other.
No, yeah, and I don't remember how we learned this. I think that again, little 19, 20-year-old people who are facilitating these events with large scale artists. handed us our check and Bowling for Soup's check at the same time, or maybe they like mixed them up or something. Like it was not like how it should have gone down.
Right.
And we saw how much they were getting paid. They got paid $17K for that fucking show, dude. I remember as a 18-year-old, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That is insane.
But even that's like nothing compared
now,
to a
yeah.
lot of people performing
I know.
now.
I know.
You know?
I was just like bewildered that this random niche band, who obviously that song is huge, but still, it's like, in the grand scheme, they had that one song.
Yeah.
Got paid that much to go to Alfred State College.
Yeah, that's
it was
crazy.
Like such
I
a
mean,
weird thing.
That actually surprises me how little it was, only because of the fact, like, dude, Brand New performed at Town Ballroom and made $25K for one show.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's a way smaller venue,
Right.
guaranteed.
Right.
You know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take 17 grand right
Yeah,
now.
what the hell?
That's funny. They probably don't. It's weird to think because, like, you and I growing up in bands, we see our bandmates all the time. You practice once a week, if not
Right.
more, when you're like, especially when you're touring. I think we were practicing 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And then you hear about these bands that hit it big, and then they're like, "We're only doing this as a business. I'm not friends with any of you
Sure.
unless we're here together."
Sure, yeah.
But it's so weird, like even just thinking about it.
I don't know.
I forget who it was, but I was talking to somebody, and they said that there was a big band that's straight up what it is. It's just a business. Like these guys all got together. I think it was Maroon 5.
Oh, really?
All of
I
those
would believe
dudes.
that.
All of those dudes came. I think they came from like Juilliard or something.
Okay.
And somebody was like, "You're really good. You're really good. You guys should get together with this
Yeah.
person and this person."
He sat down with a
And
business
then-
plan 5 years ahead of time.
Basically, yeah. Like it was like, you were so talented. This person's so talented. If you guys get together, we're gonna make you famous.
Wow.
You know?
Hey,
Which-
man. That's crazy.
That's the dream.
It's so not punk.
I don't need to be punk, dude.
Right. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's crazy. I could definitely see Adam Levine doing that, though. Or if maybe he's not even the mastermind. He's just like, I got a pretty face and a good voice.
Dude, he shreds on
He's great.
guitar.
Yeah.
He's insane on guitar.
Yeah.
I hate that I love him.
Right.
I hate it, but
gotta
whatever.
respect
That first
it.
record's the only one I like.
Hell
to be
yeah.
honest, but. So, as far as your favorite band, like favorite gig, now I understand that, but what was your best gig? Like, what's the one that best gig? Boom, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Best gig.
Is it a home show? Is it opening for somebody? Is it your own headlining?
Yeah. Honestly, the show we played at Mohawk last in 2019 was phenomenal. It was like everything we've always wanted. And I think because we gave some like time and space for like a desire to grow for a show, it was fruitful. There's just like fucking everyone from all of our lives was there, man. It was so cool. That was great. We played a lot of it was either 2015 or 2016. Played a lot of fests, summer fests that were like bucket list things for me. We played.
Yeah. How did you guys get on that? You had a booking agent, right?
Yeah, we had an agent. That year we did a lot of bigger stuff. It was just rolling, man.
Yeah.
We played skate and surf, which was crazy. I remember like we played and then like Gaslight Anthem played on like a gigantic stage that way, and I was like, that's fucking cool.
That is cool.
Played that. We played Bloodfest. Bloodfest was so much fun. Did you guys ever play that?
The only fest we ever played was Fest.
Oh, Fest.
Yeah.
We never made it there, weirdly.
Yeah, that was the only one we ever got on, and we loved it. It was so much fun, but it was like we were enjoying Fest.
Yeah.
And then when we were ready to play, we were like,
oh, shit.
we should have been Flyer this whole time. So 20 minutes, not even 10 minutes before we were going on, we're running down the street
shit.
going, come see us play, come
Right
see us
now.
play. And a bunch of people did because
Yeah.
they were just,
Fuck it.
they had nothing to do.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for us.
I mean, they're so bittersweet because it's like so oversaturated, right? There's a million bands you could see at any given time. Bloodfest was really cool. It was in Michigan. It was sick because it was in a high school. Like they basically took over this entire high school in the summer and built like 7 different stages, like in like the gym and the lunch room, and like it was just so unconventional. And there was like 3,000 punk kids roaming around this high school. It's very weird.
The place they tried to get away from their whole lives. Now
Exactly.
they can't wait to get in.
Yes, it was so strange. But that was always really fun. Played that with Head North and then also with Have Mercy when I was playing with them.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's right. You played with Have Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
through Head North, really. Our first like real tour was opening for Have Mercy in 2015, I think. First tour. They liked our EP and just gave us a 1 of 4 slot, and we were like sick, and became really good friends with them through that tour, Brian specifically, and then we just stayed friends and kept in touch, and years and years later, things changed internally a little bit for them, and it was mostly a him thing, and he wanted to keep touring and hit me up, and I was like, fuck yeah. So it was sick.
Do you remember when all their shit got stolen?
Yes.
That was at my house.
Oh,
that was at my apartment. Not here. My home.
Not in his current really nice home.
So dude, that sucked. Just quick story.
Yeah.
So they needed a place to crash. I lived downtown right off of Elmwood. And we were up partying until 7 a.m.
Sure.
And when they got there, I was like, I live in a good area. And I do. I did.
Yeah.
It was Lexington.
Sure,
there,
yeah. It's
which is like
the best
all
it gets.
homeowners for the most part, you know. And I was on Atlantic, which was right there, and the hood just came to my area.
oh my God.
But so what I did before that, I was like, just to be sure, well, I'm going to drive my girlfriend at the time. I took her car and I went right up, like 3 inches, maybe 4
Sure.
away from their trailer.
Yeah.
Me and the one guitarist, beard, redhead, Andy?
Holy shit. It might be Andy.
I think
No.
his name's Andy. Glasses. Anyways,
Fuck.
we were out till like 7 a.m.
Incredible.
Just smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, shooting the shit, and like people were in and out.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently, we went in at 7. At 7:45, somebody heard alarms going off. So they sat in their car
Oh my God.
waiting for us, and then they popped their lock, stole. You know, they didn't get all of their stuff from the trailer.
But how did they
got,
get
like, a
in
few
if the
things.
car was...
So because there was like 4 inches or whatever, they broke the lock and they like pulled it as hard as they could and just grabbed what they could.
Oh, wow.
And there happened to be like a few guitars there, and then I think maybe something of the drums, but
Sure.
it was like a piccolo snare or some
Yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
I know Brian's like childhood guitar got stolen, which fucking
They got
sucks,
it back
man.
though.
Oh, really?
I think they did.
Okay.
I thought they got everything back because when they I woke up to all their shit's gone, and I was like,
God.
"What are you talking about? All their shit's gone." And then, I went out. The cops were there or whatever, and they were like, "All right, we got to get going, man." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna call like every Guitar Center, everything, whatever."
Right.
Then, I think an hour later, they were starting to drive home, and they got a call, and all of their gear for the most part was in Rochester
Oh,
at
wow.
Guitar Center. So what they did was they drove into my neighborhood, stole some shit. They also they popped the lock on the back of the van, and they stole like a couple of their bags.
probably, yeah.
There was a passport in there, so that's a federal crime.
Holy shit,
So the dude goes there. We sent out like a list of pictures of everything they had to all of everything, like pawn shops, everything. We did it all right away as fast as we could.
Right.
I had people in Syracuse sending shit out. I had like
Wow.
all over the place.
Wow.
And a guy called the police, was like, "Hey, I have all of your shit here. Guy wants me to buy it." And they were
Wow.
like, "Just twiddle your thumbs
them
for a
there.
little bit,
Right.
try and get them there." They got them both.
Wow.
They got 2 guys. So I think they got, like, for the most part, they got all of it back.
Oh, great.
They maybe a few things they didn't, but I think they got it all back, if not most of it.
That's great to hear.
But
that
that
does
was-
not often happen.
Dude, that was so heartbreaking because I was like, I'm giving them a solid place to sleep. It's a
Yeah.
good area, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then the one fucking night, guys just sit there and watch us, and, you know,
Yeah.
that was heartbreaking.
That's terrible.
But they got most of it back, so
Yeah.
at
go.
least they got that.
I bet that guy did not plan on committing a federal offense. by
Absolutely
stealing
not.
a backpack.
No, just a crime of stealing
Idiot.
everybody's babies and belongings.
Fucking idiot.
Assholes.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember they were leaving. I was like, take some money? Like, I just like pulled what I had in my wallet and gave it to them. They're like,
Give
we don't
me
want it. I'm like,
anything.
dude, I feel so bad. You just have to do it.
Yep.
Like, either you do it here or I'm just going to like donate it to you guys online or some shit, you know?
Yep. Yeah. We like formally within the Head North camp have been robbed a couple times, but as a band once, our window busted. We were in DC. We were on tour with Free Throw and Trophy Eyes. And dude, it was like the second last night of tour of like a 6-week tour. We were so tired, ready to go home.
What a buzzkill.
Fucking DC sucks. And sorry to anyone.
But seriously.
It sucks. And yeah, they busted a window. We were smart. We always like took all our gear inside as quick as possible.
Right.
I was always so diligent about bringing my fucking backpack inside. And this one day,
You didn't.
I didn't. And they took my backpack and had my computer and my first film camera ever and my like hard drive at the time, which had, you know, demos and photos, like, you know, unrecoverable stuff. I'll never make that mistake again.
Oh man, that's devastating.
That sucked.
I believe it. That's like I can't even imagine it happening to me.
Yeah.
But I saw it happen to other people,
Right.
And I was like heartbroken.
Yeah.
For them,
Oh,
you know?
it's so bad, dude. I mean, and like those are just like tips of the iceberg. Like Seaway, I remember a while ago, straight up, they've gotten robbed a couple times, but straight up one time, someone just took their entire trailer off their van
And put it on
and
there.
just left.
Yeah, I remember that. And they found it though.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure they found it.
Yeah.
I think something similar like that happened to. Moving on, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Moving on. Yeah, that's if you're a thief and you steal from bands, you're the worst because we're already struggling. So fuck you. And if you're not, you're cool.
Just as broke as you are.
So I remember when you started Marigold. When you recorded that, you did it all yourself, right? The first one?
Yeah,
The first one.
performing mostly. Chuck did a solo on a song, and I had my friend Sadie, who now runs that place Foibles Pies downtown. She sang on some songs with me. It was always like auxiliary things, but everything, all the meat and potatoes. Yeah,
Very cool. So I remember specifically, you guys ended up getting asked to jump on the Moose Blood tour.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
really crazy. It was only 4 shows, and
It was the end of that tour, right?
Yeah. I think it was something like the opening band had like a family emergency and had to leave, and we had just put out that album, and Head North's agent, like we were still in contact, and just like knew that I had just done the solo record, and just was like, hey, can you like just do a favor and fill in on this thing? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, but we learned about it like 4 days in advance, and the first show was it was like Chicago, Cleveland, Buffalo, Toronto, I think. And we had 4 days to get to Chicago, basically. And I had to like rile a band together and get everybody available and like try, it was.
Did you guys practice before?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think. It was crazy. We played the House of Blues, which was like
I remember seeing that.
fucking wild.
I remember like Chuck texted me and like just sent a picture or something.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what?
Yeah. I don't know. It was the weirdest anomaly ever.
That's so cool though.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
No one gave a single shit. Like, no one knew who the fuck we were. We weren't even on the flyer.
Yeah.
Like, no one, people were nice, but like, it was solely for us. It was so cool.
Yeah, you never know. You may have gotten a couple
Yeah,
people there. Even
actually-
one new fan is all that.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's worth
like, some kid came up to me. I don't remember where we were. Maybe I think it was after I was playing with Have Mercy. And we played in Cleveland or Chicago, and some kid came up to me and was like, I saw you play with Moose Blood. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? What a memory.
Was that on like the recent tour?
What do you mean?
Like he saw you on tour?
He saw me playing with Have Mercy.
Oh, okay.
And somehow knew that I was the same person. I was just like flabbergasted by that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it did work.
yeah, it fucking worked, I guess. It was all worth it.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cool though. vividly remember in the green room, well, this is two memories that are kind of like this. One at the House of Blues where I saw Steve Vai's signature on the wall. And then when Head North played the Roxy in Los Angeles years before that, I saw Jimi Hendrix's signature on the wall.
Really?
Which was
very
fucking
cool.
sick.
Did they have it like framed off? Or
No,
anything?
it's just like
Just there.
Sharpie. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
How do you not just like cut that piece out?
Right.
And, like,
Yeah, it's pretty valuable piece of wall
yeah.
right there.
That's the most expensive wall that's
Yeah.
ever existed.
Yeah.
Imagine someone has no idea too.
Yeah.
Paint over it.
Right.
Oh,
Jaime. I don't know who that is.
that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I could tell you the Iowa story.
Oh yeah. Let's
It's
hear
it's
it.
a bit long-winded, so that's why I wanted to save it for last. So, same van. This was before all of this, 2014 fall. We had booked ourselves like a 6-week full U.S. tour, our first time doing the full country, and we got like a week in. We were in Iowa. And as you know, there's just nothing.
It's flat.
Nothing but corn for miles and miles and miles. And the van started doing this thing where you'd be driving, you'd be fine, and then all of a sudden it would go like and shake like up and down really, really hard. And then it would stop. And then it would do it again. And it would come on and off. So it was like we were just like, it's not stopping, so let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Eventually, it stopped. Like, the van stopped running. So we managed to get it to a truck stop, like a Triple J or something. And the truck stop had, like, a mechanic shop. I think we were, let's see, where were we coming from? Maybe, like, Denver or something. Mm-hmm. And we were going, our next show was in Boise. So we had a day off. We stop at this truck stop. Mechanic shop is closed by that time. Mm-hmm. So we're like, all right, we just have to sleep here tonight, basically. So that's one night in the parking lot in the van. The only food that this truck stop had was a restaurant called Taco John's.
Okay.
Are you familiar? No?
I don't think so.
It has nothing to do with like Mexican food whatsoever. It basically is like a sloppy Joe. It's like sloppy Joe textured meat in a taco shell.
Okay.
That's the only the only food we had accessible to us.
Yeah.
So shit got real runny real quick. But so the next morning, we're like, all right, we're going to get the van into this mechanic shop. We're going to get rolling. The mechanic has, work lined up. So he's like, I can't get you in for a couple hours, whatever. Time continues to pass. Eventually, he takes a look at it. Long story short, it becomes a situation where he is fixing things that, like, weren't really broken and is, like, lying to us, and we don't know shit. And he'd get it in there. An hour would go by. He'd work on something. He'd say, okay, you're good to go. We'd pay him $200. We'd drive away. It would start happening again. We'd come back. We'd say, you didn't do the right thing. He's like, okay, let me take another look at it. This happened like 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. And we had paid, like, we were just fixing shit that probably didn't need to be fixed, and just blowing money. So this kept happening, and eventually we reached a point where we were out of money, mm-hmm. and he had some solution of what the next problem could be to fix it. We didn't have any money, and we had been there, I think another day passed because he couldn't solve it in that first day. So we had to stay there again that night. On track to like miss our next show.
Right.
So that night we kind of like talked about what our options were. I'm calling my parents, Brent's calling his parents. They're talking internally because we had no money left and we didn't know what to do. We were kind of stuck. And the next morning we decided we were going to make it public. And we just kind of like posted on the internet, and we're just like, yo, we need some help. Like, we don't know what to do. We're kind of in a bind here. people were very responsive, and we received a lot of help from people. But primarily, Gary Sheedy, right? Previous Love, singer, Previous Love. Do you know them?
I don't know. I
No?
don't think so.
They're like Williamsville kids.
Okay.
So we knew them growing up, and they were like younger than us. They would come see us play when we would play up at like the Forum and Club Infinity and stuff. But close friends, and so this kid Gary, he calls me, and he's like, "Yo, I saw your guys' situation. My dad runs a company that he has like a remote employee that's like an hour from where you are.
Oh, wow.
And he's going to come help you." And so we were like, really weird, but okay, sure. Like, we'll not say no to anything. So time goes by. This guy pulls in like a black BMW, whips off his sunglasses. This guy's like the wolf from Pulp Fiction. Just like pure badass.
Yeah.
All black, everything. Like silver fox mustache coming on. He's like, "You guys the band?" We're like, "Yep." He's like, "All right, I'm going to take care of this." He goes in to talk to the mechanic. We hear some yelling, and 20 minutes later, he comes out and he's like, "All right, they're going to tow you to the Ford dealership or Dodge dealership in Omaha, an hour away." We're like, "Okay." He's like, "You guys are going to ride with me." So we all get in his car. The mechanic puts the van on a flatbed, and the two of us drive an hour to Omaha. Van gets dropped off at a Ford dealership. By that time, the dealership is closed. So we have to wait for the next morning. This guy puts us up in a hotel, our own room, buys us dinner.
Wow.
Like a good dinner, buys us drinks, like is so kind and hospitable to us, like shows us a comfortable night, basically.
Right.
And then the next morning, we go to the Ford dealership. They take the van in. They learn that the ECM, the electronic computer module of the van, which is like the brain, basically, is completely fried. So what was happening the entire time was that the thing that like gives you the codes that says this thing is broken, that was broken. So it was giving the wrong
code
information
over and over again.
Over and over and over again. So we were just fixing shit that wasn't broken over and over.
So it wasn't that guy trying to scam you, really.
No, he wasn't trying to scam us. He was doing what he thought he needed to do.
He
but
just wasn't looking into it enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were just blowing money
Right.
on nothing. And the dealership basically says it's going to be $3,000 to fix this fucking brain thing. We were like, "We don't have that." And he was like, "Okay, I'm going to front the money. We'll figure it out later."
Wow.
He fronts the money to get the van fixed. Van is fixed by that afternoon. He fills our tank for us and says, "We'll settle up later. You guys get on your tour."
Wow.
Drives away. Never hear from this guy again. Tried to get in touch with him.
So he just did it out
Yeah.
of the kindness of his heart.
Yeah.
Made you think it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then was like, "That's for you." That's awesome.
We tried to like, I talked to Gary. I tried to like talk to his dad. We tried to like settle up, and yeah, he just like I couldn't reach him. And it was crazy because actually, like, I think it was last year. Hold on, I have my business card in my wallet.
Okay. Stand by.
I keep it with me because it's just like was such a reminder of like acts of kindness. Tony Blasik.
This is him?
This is him. This is his business card.
Wow.
But
That's a good person right there.
yeah, it was really trippy because like last year or something, I don't think of that moment every day, but I was like thinking of that experience and thinking of him, and I was like, I had the realization that I've never like looked this guy up or tried to get in touch with him recently, and I Googled him and I found his obituary, and he had died like a few days before that, like really recently.
Wow.
And I was like, it was just so trippy that like I had thought of him like right at that moment, and then that had happened like at the same time. It was like some stars aligning type shit.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like that wild experience, and also like such a act of kindness that
Absolutely.
really taught me a lot of
That's
lessons.
one of those things where it's like, if you have the means, pay that shit forward.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's
and I have.
crazy.
I really have. But
I believe it.
it was yeah. really wild
That is
learning
crazy.
experience.
That's you don't hear about those very often. When you do, it's like a crazy gesture, you know?
I mean, dude,
that's
like
awesome.
think of everything that Head North went on to do that following year and onward. Like, it could have gone a totally different direction.
Right,
You know, if
yeah.
we said, fuck this van, we're going home, like that's that. Like, he saved that shit.
Yeah, for sure. He kept the dream alive.
He did.
He did.
He really did.
Yeah, that's wild. So I know that's what you wanted to end with, but we did actually skip one.
Oh, we did.
Driving van off highway.
Oh, yeah. This is a short story.
Okay.
I drove the van off the highway.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Same van.
Did you guys only have one van?
No, that's the funny thing is,
Well, you had the new one that you just sold, right?
yeah. And that was like most of our touring career. But all the bad things happened in that van.
Naturally.
Yeah. The memorable.
Us too.
Right. Yeah, I know.
That's not true, but kind of.
And Matt Cox and Pat Feely, if you have stories to share, please come on here and share them about
I'm
that
gonna
van.
reach out to them after this tour, and
Hell
we'll see
yeah.
from there.
Let's
but-
go. Yeah, we were playing, what was it called? Snowed In Fest in Cleveland.
Okay.
That year, Modern Baseball and Pine Grove headlined. And we were snowed in. It started snowing really bad. And, you know, being so close, we wanted to just come home that night.
Right.
And we were like, fuck it, let's just go for it. So I think Brent got a ticket for running a red light like 10 minutes from the venue. And then we got on the highway. I think Brent was driving that night. And we got like 2 hours, and it was just so bad. And like we were like falling asleep. And so we were like, all right, we're going to park at a rest stop. We had this really bad habit of like when we would do winter shows, like leaving the car on while we slept because it was fucking freezing.
Cold. Yeah.
But not safe. And
Safe enough.
Yeah, whatever. So we parked at a rest stop, and we were just like, let's just finish it in the morning. And I'm a really early riser. I always have been. So I'm usually the first person to wake up on tour. We had built like a bunk in the back of the van. I usually slept up there because I'm tiny. And I, like 6 a.m., woke up, like crawled out of the bunk over the benches to get to the front seat. And I was like, all right, I'm going to crush the rest of this drive. You know, tired-eyed and whatever. I start driving. Actually, no, I was not in the bunk. Brent was in the bunk. I was in a bench. That's right. It's pivotal.
Okay.
Brent was in the bunk. He's going to fucking die when he hears that. And I start driving, you know, I'm wide-eyed, whatever. I get like an hour, and I go to get gas, to pull off the highway and get gas. And there was so much snow, like they had not plowed really yet. And I was just took it too fast, and I like turned too quickly, and road exit, the van just went straight into the snow. And we were fine. Like, everything was fine. We didn't flip or anything. But the funniest part about it was that the second we hit that snow, I just hear Brent go poof into the ceiling of the van. His face just slams into the ceiling of the van. And I'm like, oh, shit. I just killed Brent. He's dead. He's done. I thought he was going to come flying out of the fucking, like, into the windshield.
Oh, man.
But we didn't pitch that enough for like any of that to happen.
Thank God.
Yeah. But we, you know, rolled like 30 feet into the snowbank, and I was like, is everyone alive? And everyone was alive, and we had to push it out, and we did get it out. We actually didn't need help at all.
Well,
which was crazy.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you stopped to fill this van with gas, were you able to turn it off?
That sounds kind of familiar. So probably
we were not.
Yeah, that probably was a
But
thing.
that didn't happen till like late in the tour.
Okay.
But I remember specifically it was around Christmas time because we did a fall into winter for that full US.
That sounds about right.
I got to Miami, and there's like Christmas trees, but it's all palm trees with the lights all the way up.
Yeah.
And I pull in, and I couldn't turn at that. I just vividly remember like pull in. All right, I'm getting gas, guys. Don't turn off the van.
And they turned it
No, they didn't,
Oh,
thankfully, because the day before we had,
Right.
and we couldn't get it back
Oh my
going
God.
again. That fucking van, man.
Yeah, it was evil.
It's great because like when Max was still on the podcast, he even
had
has stories.
stories, yeah.
He's like that fucking van,
That
man.
fucking
Like
van.
everybody says the same
Yeah,
thing.
it really made its
But
rounds.
it did what it needed to do. you
Yeah.
know?
We all needed a cheap piece of shit.
I just remember too, like at one point we had put so much money into that van, like just because we're 60 days gone,
Yeah.
like on the road.
You got to get to the next thing.
And we had all put, like, us and A Fortune of Fame, like, it started with us. One person would pay something.
Yep.
Then, like, everybody would kind of, like, help that person get through
Right.
it. Then the next person
Yep.
would pay. Then
Yep.
the next person would pay until it became, like, everyone had to just chip in what they
Right.
had. And then we did. And I just remember being like, if it breaks down again, we're going home.
Yeah. We're done
Without
spending
the van.
money. Yeah.
Without the van.
Right.
Because we texted Brent and we're like, dude, this fucking van, man. And he was just like, I don't know what to tell you. We're like, if it breaks down again, we're just going to have to leave it. And he's like, do what you got to do. I'll report it stolen.
Yeah.
And then they'll find it or whatever. And
Yeah.
like, allegedly, we never ended up doing that. That was never an actual thing.
None
It
of
made
us
it
could
home.
afford it. None of us. Not even us.
Yeah. It made its way home. But
Yeah.
dude, that van, we were great. I mean, still are grateful because most of my stories are from that tour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and without that van, that tour didn't happen.
Yep.
But, yeah. I really appreciate you coming on,
Dude,
man.
yeah.
This was
Thank
a lot
you
of
for having
fun.
me.
Anything you want to promote? Anything coming up? Anything you got going on? Now's the time.
I don't know. I softly leaked North
Well,
music on this. So.
That's up to you. We
Sure.
can take that out if you want. If not,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. We got Marigold recording time scheduled later this year too. So
okay. All right. Well, you got an Instagram or anything like that? You want people to follow anything? No? Cool. Anything he's got going on, I'll find it myself and put it in the description.
I'm on the
if you-
internet.
If you're interested in following his band, Marigold's great, as well as Head North, which I'm excited
I'm
for
excited
that.
too, man.
Thanks again for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. StouryTime Pod across all platforms. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, bitch.